Have you ever sat down to meditate and maybe at the very beginning or sometime into the session you've felt something shift in you and there's this sense of openness and suddenly you're crying? Or perhaps there's the same sensation of something changing, openness, and all of a sudden you start laughing. Perhaps one of these expressive emotional responses has even given way to the other, crying into laughter, laughter into crying. Maybe there's no longer even any meditative awareness, just this rolling symphony of feelings. Spontaneous crying and laughter while sitting in meditation is quite common. Many people ask me about it. In fact, I see people questioning these emotional events so much that it seemed necessary for me to make this video. I will be explaining the yogi's way of responding to these events for good practice, as well as introducing you to the two types of people who usually find themselves with these emotional results as an explanation of why this happens. But the first thing you should know is that crying and laughing is completely normal, and it is safe. Meditation is a great place to experience feeling. It can even feel good, and perhaps it's just an opportunity to reflect on the usual and sometimes chaotic momentum in life. Now that you know it is completely normal, I would like to answer the second most common question I get asked about crying or laughing during meditation. What should you do when this happens? What is the correct meditative practice or response to crying or laughter during meditation? My meditation teachers have actually been pretty clear on this. Their answer is get back to practice. It's worth mentioning that this is always the go-to rule, whether you are crying, laughing, thinking, or other interesting sensations arise during meditation. Gently return to the practice as many times as needed. But please understand this instruction does not apply if you are in danger of harming yourself or others. I think this instruction is very fair. The path of the yogi is to realize the end of suffering by constantly stepping back into alignment with awareness of what's happening, returning to the nature of our most basic and pure self. This is the goal and ultimately the level of a very skilled meditator. When practicing meditation, the distance from being aware to the many different ways we can become distracted, unaware, is actually pretty irrelevant. You can spend endless lifetimes contemplating why some sensation happened during meditation, but ultimately that contemplation probably isn't going towards enlightenment. Practice, however, is to develop awareness. We must return to it over and over again. From crying, laughing, strange body sensations of tingling, invisibility, great blisses of thoughtlessness, and wonderful void-like expanses, we must continue our practice. If you notice yourself not practicing awareness, you can break the meditation. Stand up, shake it out, and return to sitting. Practice boring, normal awareness again, because that's the skill you want to cultivate, the skill of non-distraction. So crying or laughing, regardless of the experience, gently return to awareness of what is happening. Awareness is your true nature, and sustained it is freedom. Momentary absorption into your emotions is not. But what if it feels good, or even that it was necessary? Don't let the great sages know, but personally I think if the feelings are good ones, you might as well enjoy them while they're there. If you can try to remain aware throughout them, even better. Try not to get completely lost in the pleasant emotions or add conceptual meaning to these sensations arising. I think of the interesting sensations and states as little trips away. They're nice. One might actually be motivated to meditate more if they do it once in a while. Yet still, there remains the practice of meditation to do. So, why does one find themselves seemingly spontaneously crying or laughing during meditation? Usually I'm not too surprised by the people who tell me they unexpectedly started crying or laughing during meditation one day, especially because I hear it so often. Generally, there are two types of people I encounter who ask me these questions. Without getting too precise, the experience of approaching very effective meditation is an experience of distilling through stillness. Meditation can simply be thought of as stillness. If you go through life with ideas about who you are and how things are, caught up in the momentum of constantly chasing, as many do, then you never become still. You never surrender or accept to arrive at the reality of the way things are without conceptual ideas. Rather, you are stuck in a false momentum of needing and effort. Captivated by the grandeur of powerful music or nature, a waterfall, a mountain, Sitting in meditation and becoming still isn't the only unsurprising place for our emotions to finally catch up with us. Upon meeting these pristine junctions in life, one is confronted by the profoundly unlabelable nature of this condition of existence. Successful meditation ultimately forces you to let go of all your ideas. And what are tears and laughter but fairly natural responses to letting go? To become still against the many ways we are ridiculous can be remorseful and dramatically relieving all at the same time. To not be in tension for a moment, to have our minds open up and not be an effort. Of course we cry and laugh, a release or dropping which liberates us from our usual effort. And then there's the people who already have a very salient connection to their emotions. I don't blame them. Meditation is a trip. We can have many new experiences and embark on discovering radically new dimensions of being. To explain this further, what I'm saying is that even what we would consider of the most surprising things that could happen in our lives, like a near-death experience, finding out you have a long-lost sibling, or winning the lottery, all these defiances of expectation happen comfortably within our very conventional understanding of what is. But when we meditate, that's where our very concepts of reality altogether start to break down, and the experiences of awareness introduce us to truly unconfined realities. When we meditate, we experience firsthand new aspects of being and what it fundamentally means to be us. We can experience places we've never visited, where the world disappears, and our perceptions about ourselves can be seriously challenged. It's not that surprising that we might cry or laugh. Of course, eventually all these moments pass, and it's time to return to meditating. I hope this sheds some light on these meditative experiences. May we all remain inspired to practice, may practice be fun, and may we make many wonderful discoveries that enable us to live better lives for ourselves and others. You can support the creation of more content like this by commenting, liking, and subscribing. Thank you.